All right, welcome back, Community Focus here on Channel 6 TV. Kenny Fogel, your host. Glad you could be with us tonight. And it's cold outside right now, and it's got a lot of. We're just getting into the winter months, and I know my guest here today with me, Mr. Nicky Rapier. Nicky with the Salt River Electric. Nicky, first of all, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Kenny. Thank you for having me very much. I appreciate it.
Been to the Salt River a little while now, haven't you?
31 and a half years. Yeah, 31 and a half years.
Well, then you've probably seen a few things over the years, and you get most of your. I don't say complaints, but most people know you're there in the winter time more so than any time.
It's been a pretty mild 2017, but I'm sure everybody is. We won't be at the top of their list in February when they get the bill from this past week and stuff like that.
Well, the bill's the first thing, but obviously we're glad you're there whenever there's a nice storm or a windstorm. Wintertime, I mean, of course, summertime, if the air conditioning goes out, we're not real happy either.
That's right, or if it, with trees or anything like that. But yes, I'll just kind of, Kenny and I have known each other for so long time, and you asked me after the day of the 7 o'clock mass if I'd come out here, and I said I'd be glad to. But we just did have, 3 really, really cold days here, and I think it's going to get cold again tomorrow, so I kind of like to brag on our linemen. The last couple of days, they've been getting up at 4:30 in the morning. We call them out, they get out there and work, and I mean, we want to apologize, and we understand nobody likes not to have electricity. But if you'll call our 800 number, it's 1-800-221-7465. Make sure we log in your outage and stuff like that, and that's in the Kentucky Living. But you probably ought to put it someplace on your refrigerator, because if it's 4 o'clock in the morning, you don't have electricity unless you pull your phone out and your little flashlight.
And hold it charged up.
But our linemen have done a yeoman's job, and they really do a great job. And of course, technology's helped them some, but there's nothing like getting up and having to go out. Of course, you were in the National Guard and the Army Reserve and all that.
But I'll tell you, I did a lot of things. It wasn't anything, because I remember going out one time with one of the crews just for when I was working at the radio station, and they were out in the middle of mud. I mean, it was up to people were sinking in mud. It was cold that day, and they were up on lines, and I swear I don't think that's something I can do.
We were talking with another TV station from Louisville yesterday, and Brad Adams was talking to them about, once they get up in that bucket truck, they got gloves on and everything. It's just amazing. Yeah. And they got full of little bitty. I mean, I have trouble with bolts and screws with my hands as it is. But you can imagine being out there 0, I think it was -2 yesterday morning, up in the air for an hour or two like that, trying to get everybody's electricity.
We think about firemen and police officers out there, but these crews out here on this line crew are battling the elements.
Well, and then yes, and this is about Salt River, and we're very, very proud. And I want to thank all our linemen and anybody who does line work. But it's tough on the road departments or everybody that has to do. I mean, Coulter and Ellis towing and stuff like that. I mean, this kind of weather is just very tough on everybody, and us guys that are getting a little bit older, it's tougher on our bones. But I can't imagine having to get out there and work on.
No, not anymore. But of course, another thing too. Not only are they up in these trucks, but they're dealing with. Now, I don't know how many volts go through those lines, or watts, or whatever it is you call them.
Voltage, but it's a whole lot.
It's a lot.
They can't make a mistake, and that is the one thing that we would like to tell everybody. On the last 2 or 3 outages we've had some lines burned down. I mean, basically the line, it has not been this cold since February of 2015. Had that storm that started. I don't ever say those words right, so I don't want to embarrass myself on TV too much. But this is the coldest weather we've had in 3 years. So anything that has gotten a little weak, a connection, hooked up to a fuse or anything like that, we've seen some of our blemishes, but we've been very fortunate because we've had so much growth in the last 10, 20 years that, we have moved a lot of our lines to the streets, and people, sometimes lines and poles aren't the prettiest things in the world, but if it's along the street or the highway, it's a lot easier to find.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier to get a bucket truck to it, so it's a lot quicker and it's a lot safer for our linemen. It's still hard work for our linemen.
Now, you rotate out those, transformers.
Yes.
That gets rotated out every so often?
Every so often. Well, usually rotated, you check them and everything like that. But with this kind of 0-degree weather, you just can't predict. It's just... yes, we have been very fortunate with the growth in Bullitt, Nelson, Spencer, and Washington counties that we've been able to upgrade and try to replace and put automatic switches in. They call them teleruptors, and they can do a lot of backfeeding. And we've got a lot of automatic. Like you say, in 31 years, as little as I know about the operation side, it has changed dramatically.
Well, technology too. I'm sure you all probably know the outage a lot of times before somebody calls it in.
Well, some, but then with the phone calls really do help because it kind of, it might be Poplar Flat somewhere and Woodlawn the other, or Highland Drive. We need phone calls to let everybody know what it is.
Yeah.
And once again, tonight, if there's not an outage, you could probably get through. But if you try to call in the middle of the night and we've lost a substation, and there's 1,000 people out, please be patient. We have a call center. We have a lot of automation. Once again, you can do a lot of that from your phone. You can go through the IVR system, which I'm not exactly sure what that costs, but you know what we call means. But we do need everybody to report everything, because it's easy to know that a whole line's out. But if just one or two houses are out, we really don't know until you do call it in. So we do. Now, we can tell a day or two after the fact, because once again, when I first started, we all read our own meters. And you remember you used to fill it out on the card and send it back? Yeah. Well, now we have meter readings that come back through the electric lines to the substation. Then they're generated back from the substation.
So if the meter stops.
So if the meter, but we don't know that.
Don't know that for a few days.
Hours, or I think we get a reading every 27 hours, so it's almost daily. So we will see a lot of things, but we're not going to be able to report an outage like that. So we do need everyone, never touch a down line. You don't know if it's cable, telephone. Please be safe, and please always call us on the 800 number and call it all in for everybody.
Well, I know now during the summertime, I know y'all do a lot of tree trimming, because a few years ago the ice storm took a lot of lines out.
We're on a 4-year tree trimming, and between what we do every year and yearly, and Tim Sharp's not going to be happy because I'm not. But we probably spend between $1.5 and $1.8 million to cut trees every year, and that just and so it just makes it so much safer. It makes it so much more reliable. Actually, once again, if a tree's into a line, it can either tear it down, or you can that makes the tree unsafe. It could be a lot of things. So we do quite a bit of aggressive tree trimming every year, and on a 4-year cycle.
I know something a lot of people don't think about, and I don't think about it at all, is the load that these lines carry. I mean, obviously, it's not unlimited. So if everybody in the county's got their washer and dryer or something on at the same time, something's got to give.
When we had the ice storm and we were down working, and I'll go to Shepherdsville, down there in the Beech Grove area, and most of y'all are not familiar, but it is a very highly populated area. We basically had to go on, and in Bullitt County they don't have a local TV station or a local radio station. You've done both.
Yeah.
So you're trying to get the big four in Louisville to tell them, y'all please turn some of your stuff off. Bump your heat up, because the load was just so big, it couldn't pull it. I mean, I've heard the guys say, if we do much more, I'm afraid I'm going to burn the line down, so that makes it worse. So sometimes they'll have to almost cut one section of people off for 10 or 15 minutes to let so much come up, level out, and I'm sure I'm not using all the right technical terms, guys.
It's a terms people understand.
Yeah, so I'm trying to speak what little bit I know after 31 years. But that is a big thing, Kenny, as you said. We had some trouble either yesterday or the day before. The last 2 or 3 days have been I forget which one. We had some problems out at Deatsville, where the Corman Crossing, and they've added some more houses and stuff, and we were blinking people. They weren't really ever going out, but they were blinking, and it took us a while, and you really don't know how your load is shaping up. You can predict it, but it's like everything else. You can't be a soldier if you've never gone through all the practice and stuff. So this was kind of good for us, but the load is a big deal. When it gets real cold, stay as warm as you want to stay, but it's probably not a bad idea if you can stand at 70, go to 72 or 73, whatever. It helps us, and it's really going to help you 45 days from now when you get that bill. And you're not going, and that's what's going to happen. It's going to get warm in February, and people say, "What? Never was that coming off?" It was 0 2 or 3 nights this morning. Times in the morning.
I think you always put the history of it on the bill.
We tried to put the history, and last year was a very mild month. Mild year. I'm sorry. I mean, heat wise and air conditioning wise, because we look at our consumption, and actually we got, luckily, knock on wood, very little complaints last year because everybody's bill was affordable. But now there's going to be some big bills, and the best way to address that right now is if you can go home, and we all got kids, or we all got 4 or 5 TVs going on, and lights, and I mean, we love you.
Oh, we've got dependent on it.
We love you to use electricity. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to cut my own throat, but this kind of weather, there is so much with the coldness.
Yeah.
If you can at least decrease your usage a little bit, you'll help Salt River. You'll help your neighbors, and you'll help your whole lot of yourself in the electric bill. And that's the key, because we're going to see some large electric bills, because we have had a cold end of December and a cold January, and that is good for our business, but we're member owned. Our people, our customers, our members, our owners own us. They elect the board. So you never want your owners to be mad at you.
No.
So you know, yes, we like to make money, but we did all right last year in the mild year, and we've been very fortunate to have a lot of residential growth, and especially in Nelson County and Bullitt County, we're getting a lot of new factories, new bourbon, new e-commerce buildings, Amazon down in Bullitt County. Up here with Kim Houston and BIDC, they've brought in a couple new factories. You got Thai Summit, you've got the Barstown Bourbon, you got Lux Road, a couple more they've announced. So we've been very, very lucky, and that helps us because commercial and industrial, the more you have of that, in theory, the cheaper it is for residential. If you're in Eastern Kentucky and you're some electric co-ops like us, and they're all residential.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very hard.
Oh, yeah.
You just can't. You just got to spread your costs.
And people don't realize how much coal is involved in this.
Coal.
And they think, well, what's the big deal with coal in Kentucky? Because we're on electricity. They don't realize that that's where it comes from.
A lot of it comes from coal, and a lot of it now is coming from this natural gas with fracking. So actually, it's like everything else. It's kind of nice to have coal and natural gas because if one jumps up so much, you can kind of depend on the other. So most of the new plants they're building, and the market has changed so much. We had a meeting on that today. Is that as long as the load is not too big and the lines are not over, same thing with transmission.
Yeah.
They can bring power from other places. But in our business, 80% of our cost is buying power.
Yeah.
So East Kentucky Power is our power cooperative, and they do a good job and everything. But for every dollar we take in, 80 cents of it's going to the power bill before we do anything. And so that's a big lick for us.
Yeah. Well, 31 years. Have you seen a lot of changes in 31 years?
Yes, I have. A lot of changes. The last strike they had was 32 years ago. So I've been very fortunate not to go through any of these strikes and things like that. And technology's got so much better. And I'm talking that with the trucks and the transformers and the pole. You can just think about cell phones and everything, the internet. 30 years ago, we didn't even dream those were. I got out of school and worked.
That was Star Trek stuff.
That was right. Every business had one or two computers, and you rotated them, and then you stayed late or you worked around it. Well, now everybody's got a personal computer.
Yeah.
But it's been a great experience. I've really been very fortunate in my life to get to work at Salt River and to come back and grew up in the same town that I've always been here.
Well, like I said, Salt River Electric is a company that's around. We don't think about you at all until something goes bad. But
and we like that. It's kind of like to be like that referee. We just soon be your support. And if we're invisible, then everything is good.
Yeah, it's a guy. So electricity, we couldn't do without it. And again, one more time before you get out of here, that outage number.
That outage number, and we have it in the Kentucky Living. Everybody should be getting their Kentucky Living this weekend. But if it's dark, it's 1-800-221. 7465, and you have to go through a few little things. But if you can get that logged into our system, we have to manually release that so that we're not perfect and we make mistakes every day. And I'm the leader in making mistakes and everything. But if you do have an outage, please don't assume that your neighbor's already reported. We would always rather you report it and let us know what's going on. That and the safety is the two key things that we want to really stress. Be safe, and please let us know if you do have an outage, because sometimes we don't know it if you don't tell us.
All right. Well, Nikki, appreciate you being
Kenny,
here.
thank you very much. And we'd like to wish everybody, once again, please bear with us this cold weather. We're going to do the best we can, and please cut back a little bit if you can. You don't hear too many companies say spend less money with me, but it might not be a bad idea now, so you won't be so mad at me when you see me at Kroger's in February and March.
There you go. Nikki Raper with Salt River Electric, keeping the lights on for us. And the linemen out there, we appreciate everything they're doing for us, and hopefully you do too. So stick around. Thanks, Nick, for being here. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back with more community focus, more Channel 6 TV right after this.